We are chatting with Alamogordo Tigers head football coach AJ Cisco. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, man. It's week 2, 1-0. Can't ask for anything else. Better start to the season.
I'm sure as a coach you would have loved maybe a little bit less drama on Friday night, but I think more than anything you always like to see a team that's resilient, and I thought that showed in the second half of the Tigers.
It did. I mean, and to be honest, and credit to Santa Fe, when they needed to make plays, they did to kind of get back in that game and take the lead. But a lot of that was us doing things on our own end to shoot us in the foot. I mean, offensively, you go and you have a drive that gets down there and you turn it over inside the 30 on 4th down when they haven't done anything to stop us. And then we have 2 fumbles in the second quarter that were huge that both led to touchdowns. One was a really short field. Another one is a drive that we're moving the ball and turn it over. So, and we just made some really mental mistakes defensively, trying to do too much to some of our kids like, hey, I got to make plays now. I got to do this, and trying to overcompensate for a couple of injuries that we ended up taking on. And that's something that we talked about at halftime. And then they come out in the second half and played a lot better defensively, started to relax and not have to think so much and just be able to play. So that's a credit to Coach Haney and the defensive staff for doing a good job rallying them back at halftime, getting them back in check and under control. Don't like giving up the kickoff return to start second half.
I was going to say,
don't like that one.
That could have been the if they weren't a little bit stronger mentally, that could have been the thing that just ended the game.
Yeah, and then, I mean, they go up 33-21 like that, and you go down there and you basically have the kickoff pinned on the sideline inside the 20 on the 25, and then they end up popping it out, and you're going, oh my gosh. But credit to our kids for being resilient. Offensively, we need to get better up front. But even with that, we kind of control the game up front offensively, which is who we are and try to be all the time. And you rush for over 300 yards, average close to 7 yards carry. It was a good night, but it's got to get better. And at no point did I ever really worry about us offensively being able to move the ball. It was, can we get a couple of stops to get back in this, and then we can kind of take care of it and ice it and run and kind of pull away and end this thing. But like that whole toughness part about you're down 33-21 after the kickoff return second half. I mean, that's all we do to our kids from January till August is about being physically tough and mentally tough, and how do you handle adversity and don't back down from challenges. And, that's a credit to our kids. And we tell them all the time, you don't know when this will show up, but at some point it's going to show up and matter. And it did on last Friday when you're down by 12, just give up a huge play to start the second half. All the momentum's with them. And then we get the ball back, drive right down the field and score. And that's kind of, hey, just continue to put your nose to the grindstone and work, and good things are going to happen.
And I think you talked about, 2 of your key players go out with injuries pretty early in the game, and the ability of, the different running backs have stepped up, and, you've got a sophomore quarterback, and you just never know in some of those cases. And I thought, Rudy really made some good plays for you. He also made some sophomore mistakes here and there, but I'm sure the coaching staff has got to be encouraged by what they saw in game 1.
Absolutely. I mean, we ended up having to play 2 sophomores at linebacker a lot. Rudy played the entire game at quarterback sophomore, and the old Coach Bradley saying is you're going to lose a game for every sophomore you start. And we tell our sophomores all the time, like, our goal is when we get to the playoffs, you guys are playing like juniors. And so all this experience is to get there. So we get to November, it's not a bunch of sophomores playing. We got juniors playing with the experience they got. And, credit to Rudy. Did a good job, made some bad plays, which you kind of have to live with that as a sophomore. But did a good job managing the game. Got his feet wet really early, made a pull on a read. Goes down there for 32, throws a good pass on the RPO to Rowe, and then caps it off with a touchdown pass to Tristan Bowman. We don't do a lot in the air. I mean, everybody knows that. He's 4 of 7 throwing the ball. And the other one of those incompletions is probably a touchdown. Should have been a touchdown to Bowman in the corner end zone, and another drop was the tunnel screen to Yadiel. And so, he had one really bad throw the entire night. So that's a credit to him. And thought he did a really good job of just being in the moment and just playing and managing that offense. Got to take better care of the football for sure. For sure, we can't live with those 2 fumbles. But he did a good job. And you go back to like Caleb Bicken played linebacker. And I don't know if we got a call in defensively in the second half because he was so deer in the headlights. He was just staring at his key the entire time, never looked at the sideline to get a call. But he played really well up front for us. And, I mean, he's going to get a start this week at inside backer. And, that's exciting when you get those young kids to play well. Then you get to see, like, hey, for another 2 years after this group's gone, we still got kids that can play at this level and be very successful.
And now that your defensive line stepped up huge in the second half and came up with some big sacks, but more importantly, just to get pressure, just to not let the quarterback sit in the pocket or have an easy rollout, they seem to really turn up the tempo a little bit on them offensively.
Yeah, and then that's when you got three guys on the edge with Tanner Novacek, Michael Scott, Xavier Gardner, and Canelo that can really put pressure on the edge. And then it all that matters is we got to get a nose guard that can go. And Demetrius Wellington played really well at nose. And he knows, like, he's not going to make plays. He's going to draw double teams, take care of it.
So happy with what you saw from those guys as the game progressed.
Absolutely, and our ability to get pressure on the quarterback. And we go over there, we gave up some big pass plays. Defensively, you get that screen that they break for 70, the two big fade patterns to their kids. And they got good skill kids. Santa Fe's got good skill kids that can run. And both those big long pass plays, we're in position to make a play. It was just the kid made a better play than we did. So you got to tip your hat to those kids. I mean, it's not a, hey, chew your corners butt for doing something bad. Like, he's right there. He got out, jumped twice. And some of that is just kind of what you have to live with. That's kids being kids and making plays, and their kid happened to make a better play than our kid on that situation. The screen pass was completely on us, doing things incorrectly to give up the 70-yarder. But we didn't give up. We didn't let them run the ball. We didn't let them just line up and pound on us and continue to run the ball at us. Thought we did a really good job in the run, and really trying to bottle up their two active quarterbacks that can move and get outside and cause problems. And I thought our kids handled that really well. The big part defensively we got to get better at is all those pass plays were on third down and third and long.
And fourth down, too.
And fourth down. And it's like, get off the field. Like, the situation, and we do situations every week and put them in situations and yell out situation, and they identify what our goal is in that situation. But like those big plays were all on late long down situations, and we got to get off the field. And if we do that in the second quarter, we can probably put that game away before halftime. But we allowed those three big plays on third down and fourth down to allow them to get some momentum. And we tell our kids all the time, if you get a team down and you let them just hang around, they're going to hang around and get some confidence and play later on. And you can go back to Clovis last year. Clovis had nothing to play for. We didn't put them away, even though they never stopped us offensively. We didn't put them away. And so then they just kept hanging around, and then they feel like they have life and there's something to play for. And Santa Fe kind of did the same thing. If we kind of put them away in the first half, and when we got our foot on their throat, we've got to finish it off. And that's something that we talk to our kids about on Mondays. This is important. But after the game, you tell those kids, like, they had about 60 seconds on me being upset and getting that off my chest, and then it's immediately, hey, winning stuff to do. Enjoy being 1-0. At the end of the day, nobody looks at the score or how it went. They just see 1-0. And that's our goal, and that's our mantra for a lot of things we do is be 1-0 every Friday. That's our goal for tomorrow night against Clovis is when we get over Clovis at 9:30 at night, let's make sure we're 1-0. That's all that matters to us.
And, I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are part of the team last year that really want to go there and get a win coming up tomorrow. Because, the frustration, obviously, from not winning the game last year. And it's a Clovis team that returns a decent amount of guys. They're a quality group that you guys are going to face off against. What is the mindset going into? Is it just focus on the things you guys can control?
It's you start off the week on Monday, and the kids are kind of foaming at the mouth because they're pissed off about what happened last year. And then we kind of make them watch the game again. Like, you're going to relive this and the heartache, because all we had to do was go handle our business, win, and we're in the playoffs and playing another week. And we didn't do it. And then they watched that game, and they even more pissed off because of how bad we played defensively in that entire game to put us in that situation. But then it's one of those things like, hey, we're not going over there on a revenge tour. Like, we're going over there to be 1-0. Last year's team's not this year's team for both sides of the ball. Like, don't make this personal. This is us this year. This is 2026 Alamogordo Tigers versus 2026 Clovis Wildcats. And if we make it personal, then we're going to do some things that are incorrect. That could bite us in the butt. So it's trying to get them geared back down about, hey, go back to who we are. We are who we are. Focus on being 1-0. Nothing about last year. This is not a personal revenge tour. And I think our kids have adapted to that pretty well throughout the week. Now, they're not very happy about last year still, which is okay. I said you can have a chip on their shoulder, but that's not our driving focus. Our driving focus is to win on Friday night at Leon Williams.
So for you guys defensively, obviously it was a tough first half in game week 1 of the season. How different is it going to be defensively than how you guys attack what Clovis does offensively?
Clovis has got some weapons. They lost their quarterback last year. That he's a problem, and I think he's a starting quarterback at a 6A school in Texas now in Friendship. He's an athletic sucker. So they've got a big old kid playing quarterback now that is athletic. He's a junior, and he does a good job. Like he's mobile. He can run. He's all of 6'2". Good looking specimen. Good looking kid. He's not as shifty as the kid they had the last 2 years, and but they're going to do the same thing. They're going to get in the spread. They're going to try to spread you out, run the ball, or throw it all over the place. If we can stop that, then they're going to get into their wing sets with 2 tight ends and try to line up and bully you, which is kind of our forte. That's what we want to do. Let's turn this into a fist fight in a phone booth. And then the biggest change in Clovis this year is up front. I mean, they're so much better offensive line and defensive line wise. And I think that's going to give them a fighting chance throughout the year. It's because they still have athletes. They've always had those athletes running around. But the biggest downfall of them the last 2 years we played them was probably up front. They weren't very good up front, O-line and D-line, and they are drastically improved. And they got 2 defensive tackles that get off the football and are violent with their hands and are aggressive and explosive. They still do the same thing defensively where they're going to stump both backers just about every play. And the last 2 years when they do that, we're going to pop it and pop one for 60, for 70, for 80. And so we still have that mindset, hey, we're going to go in there, we're going to catch them. I mean, they're going to live by the door, die by the sword. And so let's go and do what we're supposed to do and break some big plays. But we've got to be better defensively. And like I said, you watched the game last week. We tackled really well. Didn't have a ton of missed tackles. But we just got to get off the field in those situations when it's crucial for us to get off.
And offensively, I mean, obviously we know that, some key players are missing, but again, the guys that were on the field, and I mean, you can focus on that stuff as much as you want. It's the guys who are on the field at the end of the day, and it seemed like, the players that got the opportunity, they were excited to get it. And is that kind of the thing that you've seen from them in practice this week, is the players that, maybe didn't expect to be getting as much playing time are going to get that this week?
Yeah, and they our guys believe in the next man mentality. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of panic among the coaching staff. It's just, hey, let's go. This guy's in now, let's roll. We joked about it on Monday that, hell, Coach Haney could have ran behind that offensive line and gained some yards on Friday night because they did such a good job. And it's exciting. Those kids, they know their situation, and that's a big thing we talk about in our program is know your role. What is your role on this team? Are you a guy on the sideline that's supposed to be engaged and make sure your teammates are engaged and knowing that you're never going to play? And we have a ton of that. We have those guys. Are you a guy that is one injury away from having to play a lot? And you better be locked in and go. And those guys that were in that situation last week got thrown to the wolves really fast, especially if they're a sophomore. And they rose to the challenge. You saw the mistakes, but their mindset this week is like, hey, this is my spot. Like, this is my job now. And when we get our guys back, they're going to get to go back to their previous role, but they've understand the role they're now in, and how important our success is based on how well they play. And those sophomores and young kids that got to step in last week really had a good week of practice and really have relished in that role, which is a positive sign for our future going forward.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's a long road trip, but thankfully this is the only long road trip you guys have to take.
It's a lot better than last year.
So between Clovis and Hobbs and Farmington.
Don't forget